Hi everyone. Good
Hi.
afternoon. Actually, I am going to teach you about the concept of stress. Okay, but I'm gonna start from more fundamental point, and this is another concept which is the force. Every one of us has some experience in our real life about the force. Could you please give me some examples of the forces you have been practiced or you have been done in before?
Who have you teaching of force? Gravity.
Gravity. Gravity is kind of force. And any more?
And when we hit by a stone.
Yes, that's it. Yes, these are different types of forces. Okay, and I try today to connect this concept to another concept, which is stress. Okay. As you can see, I bring you an apple today, and I need the apple in order to explain about this concept, which is relevant to the continuum mechanics. And I need to make some pressure on the skin of the apple. Okay, as you can see, I impose some forces on the skin of the apple, but the apple will become constant, or will not change very well.
Yeah.
Okay, will not deform really high. But as you can see, it's a deformable body, which is wrapped all the parts of the internal parts of the apple under the skin. So all of them, all the segments will work and act as a whole, as a continuum whole. And the branch of science that can predict the deformation of such things, which are continuum things, is continuum mechanics. Continuum mechanics is a branch of science that can predict this quantity, stress, in a body. But if I try to more explain about the quantity, I want to change in the skin of the apple, and then I will go through the apple, and I will say you that how much stress should I have if I want to cut the apple and split it with two parts. Okay, as you can see here, at the first step, the knife cannot cut the skin. Okay, but if I increase the pressure, I will split it in two parts. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so we have another apple. And I want to ask you that what do we have to do in order to hold this piece of apple in the stabilized situation? I mean, what do I need to do if I want to hold this part of the apple in the same way, or in the same position? What would you do?
To hold it firm.
Yes. For example, I push the apple
Yeah.
toward this direction, and what would you do for making the stability of the apple? We should insert some other forces in other direction which is equal to the pushing force, but in the opposite side, yes? And as you can see, these are the external forces because I try to push them to this side, and these are the internal forces, yes? Because I need to make the stability of the this part of the apple in internal part, okay? So these are the external force and these are the internal force. And we have a segment or an intersection of the apple here, which contains different segments, yes? Each part have some feelings about the internal pressure or internal forces I exerted here, okay? And if you want to say that how much force does this part of the apple or this segment or other segments can feel about the internal forces that I impose there, you will have the concept of a stress. I mean, this force will be the average force on the area of on the apple, yes? And I named it with, I called it with sigma, which is the average force on the area of the apple, okay? And it's really important and fundamental in continuum mechanics because when you want to design every element and every structural element, for example, a column in this building or a beam in this building, you will encounter with this quantity because this quantity will be must be less than the allowable or the strength of the material in order to keep it in an equilibrium position, okay? Just like the apple. I tried to cut it first and I could not because my force was not reached this sigma, which is allowable stress, and when I increase my force, this apple take part to two segments. So this concept is very important in continuum mechanics, and it will be used in designing the structures. And this is my presentation. Is there any question? No?
No.
Thank you.